You know who made it.
Live from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. It's Revening's Whiskey Wednesday. Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday, revenue party people. We've got lots of hot prizes, hot topics, and hot guests. So let's get into it tonight. I got a couple announcements before we get started. Would love to hear from y'all in the comments. Hey, Steven, what's up? I've been thinking about Whiskey Wednesday a little bit in the name, and I've gotten feedback on both sides. So I really want to learn from the audience. What do you think? Should I keep whiskey in the name Whiskey Wednesday? Let me know in the comments your thoughts. I think there are pros and cons on both, but I don't want to influence your opinion. So please share with me in the comments now and throughout the show what you think about the name Whiskey Wednesday. And if you think we should keep it, because right now I'm drinking water and I don't drink whiskey every week. And when I do drink whiskey, that's the only time of the week I drink whiskey. Wasn't even really much of a whiskey drinker. So, but it comes with a vibe, and I want to hear from you. So please plug into the comments what you think about the name Whiskey Wednesday, because of course we talk about sales, marketing, and alignment here, and there are drinking problems. Let's be real. In both of those industries, in sales and marketing, let's be real about it. So, if anyone else is willing to be real in the comments, plug it in there. Let's talk about the realities of alcohol and not glamorize it in sales and marketing. But I think we can all be adults, and I enjoy a drink and, adult conversation. So let me know what you think in the comments. Otherwise, another comment and announcement I have for you is that I have a coaching program underway. It's going to be a LinkedIn coaching program. I'm already helping some people level up their LinkedIn. I've been offering a done-for-you LinkedIn program. And what I'm learning is that people want to do it themselves and they want to be educated. So I've written a book. It's not published yet. It's coming soon. And then my course will be based off the book. And I want to help you. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. I think more people need to get active on LinkedIn, especially sales and marketing people. Hello. Like, what year is it? How are people really buying? If you're not on LinkedIn and active, literally you. Talking about the founder and the CEO, you need to be the one on LinkedIn. Yes, we can't just outsource everything. You need to go be your own authentic self. So we can talk about that. And let's get into the fun stuff. So for tonight's hot topics and hot guests, you saw it in the intro video, but this is what we're talking about tonight. So we're going to be talking about managing our anxiety during sales calls and, marketing too, because marketing, we have a lot of stress. We've got a lot of tasks. There's a lot of to-dos. And let's be real, sometimes it leads to drinking problems too and anxiety. But we're going to be getting into the anxiety piece of it tonight with Jen Lederer. And last time she was on the show, I took away so many tips that I actually used. So we're going to hear from her again tonight. And then let's learn the art of storytelling and connection in sales, as well as, sales and business development with Cynthia. We'll be getting into that. Cynthia is traveling, so she is running a little late. So hopefully she'll pop in here even before I pull in the guests. But if you haven't already yet, subscribe to the Whiskey Wednesday newsletter, sending out a newsletter every Wednesday. So you can go to reveting.com to subscribe to that. Please check out my StreamYard affiliate. That's what I'm using tonight. We can talk about that. Send me a DM. And if you don't mind leaving a tip, this is all done by me. All of the images is the creation. I do get help now from the Task Minions. So shout out to Task Minions. Chandra with the Task Minions has been helping me duplicate a lot of this, but we're doing a lot of it otherwise in-house. So would really love your help. And then of course we have Erica here behind the scenes helping me with the comments. So thank you, Erica, for all of your help. So support Whiskey Wednesday, support small businesses, leave a tip. And so for prize one tonight, you're going to want to enter hashtag email in the comments to enter to win Data Ghost, Lavender Pro, 1 year free, and the Grove cookie box from Cynthia. She's giving out 3. So we're going to have 1 box and 3 of the prizes. So enter hashtag email to enter to win prize 1. And I just saw that Cynthia came in backstage, so I'm getting excited. Prize 2. We've got, you're going to want to put hashtag revenue to enter to win a headset. Hello. And 30 minutes cold call coaching with the Tom Slocum and a box of Grove Cookie Company cookies. Thanks to Cynthia. Again, 3 prizes tonight, 3 winners. Each will get 1 box of cookies. And all of those are thanks to our guest tonight, Cynthia. So please tag her and thank her in the comments for her generosity. And then also tag Jen in the comments too, because she's giving out on-demand storytelling workshop. So you're going to want to put hashtag cookies to enter to win prize 3. And you're going to get a box of cookies. That's my friend there, Alexa. If you know Alexa, tag her here. Alexa, if you're here, I want to hear from you. Hi. I think of Alexa when I think of Grove Cookie Company. And that's why I put this picture here. It's because she went to a trade show and she was gifted Grove cookies. And I was like, that's awesome. So you'll get a box of cookies from Grove Cookie Company. Tag Grove Cookie Company. Give them some love. They are also a small business, veteran-owned, woman-owned, and they're about to have a baby. So let's give them some love. Tag them in the comments. It's not that hard. Prize 4, tag Proposify. They're making this all possible tonight. And I actually use their app. It really is an awesome app in terms of getting your proposals out there. And I'm a marketer. It's all drag and drop. It makes it very easy for me to make my proposals. And not only that, but then I can see when people are viewing it, when they're signing, when they're not signing, and it just helps me with my sales. So check out Proposify, but also tag them to enter to win the Proposify swag pack. And next week, if you want to learn about LinkedIn, you're not going to want to miss this episode next week with Alex Boyd and Jody Johnson. Please tag them in the comments because I am looking forward to this episode next week with the founder of Revenue Zen, that's Alex Boyd, and CEO of Prospect Hunter, Jody Johnson. We're going to be talking all about LinkedIn and maybe quite possibly some, I don't know, Jesus and turning water into whiskey, possibly. I don't know. We'll see where that conversation goes. But anywho, so here we are. Let's get our guests in here. I see they're both here. Welcome to the show, Jenn and Cynthia.
Hi, hello.
Hello,
Really
hello.
excited to be here.
Hey.
I'm so excited to have you, and I'm so glad you made it, Cynthia. And Jenn and I were jamming in the background, just talking, having a great conversation. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation tonight.
And I mean, I appreciate it that you guys were so cool about it. I mean, it's been a crazy, crazy, crazy day. I mean, happy that we're on the second month of Q2, but yeah, it's been crazy.
I hear that. Yeah. Let us know in the comments. I know personally, like, let's just be real. I had a breakdown today and I'm going to celebrate that because I felt better after it. But there's so much to do. My to-do list is just building up, and sometimes it's a lot to handle. So I think it's okay to talk about it, and I think we should talk about it. And we're going to be getting into how to manage our anxiety tonight in sales and marketing. So before we get into that, would love to get a quick introduction from both of you. We put a time clock up, if you remember, at a Whiskey Wednesday. So I'm going to put a 2-minute time clock up. If you wouldn't mind, just tell us a full backstory of you, what you're doing, how we can best support you. Feel free to ask our audience to support you in the comments as well, because as you can see, they are engaging here. And we want to get questions from you in the audience as well. So please feel free to chime in as we're going. But Cynthia, let's start with you. Can you please just give us a quick introduction?
So yes, my name is Cynthia Handel. I am the head of global sales for Samara. I've worked in sales all of my life. And I think that I'm just one of those people that they were never really good at anything in school. Like I sucked at every single sport. I sucked in art. I sucked in like playing the flute. And all of my sisters and all of my friends were like really into sports or really into like hobbies. And I wasn't really good at anything. So I went through life, I think, and through high school and college thinking that I didn't really have anything until I actually started working in retail back in college. My first job, I was a store manager. And I just remember that I loved the thrill of actually closing sales. So one thing led to the other, and it's been a wild ride. I've been in sales for almost, 18 years now? A whole different industry, a lot, like from everything from retail to tech to real estate. I've done everything. I've done everything.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And Jenn, could you please give us a 2-minute introduction? I know we have some new people who maybe didn't see the last episode with you, but I know there are a lot of returning people as well. But just, could you talk a little bit about yourself for 2 minutes?
I can make it feel new again. Even people who know me before, I can make it feel new every time, baby. I am Jenn. I'm a comedian and a keynote speaker, and I love helping people learn how to storytell and understand that we are always telling stories. We're telling stories to ourselves. We're telling stories to others. We're hearing their stories. We're reading between the lines of their stories. There are so many conversations happening that the more that you can actually be the writer of them, the more that you can, I don't want to say control, but you can engage in conversations in a lot more connected way. And it's not about being funny. You might end up being funny as long as you don't try to be funny. When people come to me and they say, okay, I want you to teach me how to be funny, that's, I can teach you how to write a formulaic joke and teach you how to, try to be funny. But if you really learn to connect, you might happen to be funny through your honesty, and that is going to build a kind of fan base or following or audience that stays with you through anything and everything, not just when you're being funny. And that's what I'm interested in, because some businesses, when they try and force humor into their marketing, it does not work. And that is funny to me to watch. So when I work with people, it is teaching them how to look at their business from a million different perspectives because that's the muscle that I use the most as a comedian. And when you learn to build that muscle, you start to do it really naturally. And then content creation and learning how to flip one thing into 5 different platforms becomes easier.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So let's get into these hot topics. Of course, guests, let me turn this clock off. As we're getting through the show, be sure that you're entering to win these amazing prizes. And thank you both so much for your generosity and sharing prizes tonight. Again, people in the audience, give Cynthia and Jenn some love, because I'm really excited about these topics and they were very generous in sharing prizes. So topic 1, secrets of sales and business development. Can you kick us off with this, Cynthia?
I can. I think that one of the main secrets of actually being in sales development, and I see it every single day because I also lead customer BDR retention efforts at Samara. So I'm speaking to a lot of BDRs across all industries. I think that the most important thing that most BDRs forget is that you actually need to prospect every single day to continue building your pipeline. And a lot of people underestimate the fact that it should probably be the first thing that you do in the morning to get over it and build a good list, because that's actually going to drive it's going to be the activity that's going to drive more growth to your pipeline than everything. If you're in outbound sales, if you're in inbound, of course, you're going to be getting a lot of inbound leads, but like 95% of all of us that are in outbound sales, prospecting is probably the most important thing that people underestimate and they need to focus on. Number 2, I think that with, everything's changing so much in the sales landscape and so much stories going on about dark social, about building your personal brand, about social selling, especially in times of adversity. Like now, people forget that the easiest way to probably reach quota is by sticking to the basics. And I know the basics are boring. I was just talking about that. The basics is our good old friend, the phone and email, personalization. That's the way things were done. And that's the way for hundreds of years that companies did business, by using the phone. So I think that people forget that. Like there is no magic key, there is no secret formula, no secret sauce. And if you stick to the basics, you're probably going to repeat every single day and just put effort into the activity. You're probably going to become really good at what you do and reach your quota. I think that those are the probably 2 most important things that people forget, and that they're the biggest secrets.
I love that. Thanks for sharing. Jenn, anything you would add to this topic?
No, she covered everything beautifully.
You're the expert here, Cynthia, on this one.
Yeah. And it's just so honest and it's simple, but the simple stuff is easy to put off, to say, I'll do it after lunch, to whatever. So the key of doing it first, I think, is really important, because then you don't talk those stories. We don't tell ourselves the story of when we're going to do it later when we know that we won't.
I actually had an activity with my team that was really fun yesterday, and no promotion here, but I'm obsessed with everything that has to do with Jeff Blount, and I'm reading his book, Selling in a Crisis, right now. I don't know if you can see it. And there's a chapter called Eat the Frog. And the frog is actually the hardest and worst task of your day. And that's probably prospecting. You need to identify that. So we did an 8 a.m. meeting with everybody. They had no idea. I just named the activity Eat the Frog. And I'm like, does everybody know why we're going to call these Eat the Frog? And they're like, no. So I told them, you have 30 minutes to prospect 20 new companies or whatever. So after those 30 minutes, the top performers came in with, one had 26 companies. The other one had 19. The other one had 22. Some people only had 2 companies. One only had 3. So I'm like, okay, so all of you ate the frog. And those people that actually brought in more than 15 companies are people that are dedicating the time that they need to every morning, eating the frog, not letting it get uglier, slimier, and fatter. Because as the day goes on, you're going to put off prospecting, as Jen was saying, and you're just going to say, no, 2 more hours, or I'm going to do it tomorrow. And tomorrow the frog is fatter and uglier, and it's just sitting there. You're going to continue putting it off until it's Friday. You haven't prospected all week and your pipeline's empty. So I think, like I said, going back to the basics, prospecting is everything. It's the activity that you should put most time in the morning. It's probably the first activity that you should do just to get it over with.
Yeah. There's a book called that chapter. I don't know if the book came first or the chapter came first, but you can get just the book of Eat the Frog.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah,
I'm going to look it up.
It's so funny that you just mentioned that. And this is how I know we're already vibing, Jessie, because when you were talking, that's the first book that came to my mind, that phrase. So of course, you were just doing that yesterday. And it's brilliant.
That's
I
awesome.
love it. Yeah, I love it.
So anything else you would both like to add on this topic? I know we have a lot of salespeople in the audience. Any questions for Cynthia or Jen on this one? I'll say as a marketer, the same advice really applies with eating the frog, and I'm not saying I'm not a salesperson because I'm a business owner now. So of course I have to do sales, but I know there's some marketers in the house. Like, let us know if you're here, say what's up. And we have a lot of tasks on our to-do list, right? So like, what's that hardest task on our to-do list that, is due the soonest? Because, we have different deadlines. So just like tackle the biggest one first. That's the way I would read that. So I think that's really great advice. And I love to, I hate seeing on LinkedIn, like, can we just mention really quick all the marketing haters out there who are hating on salespeople? And like, they're getting these DMs from salespeople or cold outreach. And, while I get their point that like, yeah, we shouldn't be like, I don't know. I get their point that like, I don't always like cold outreach, but it's because it's like poorly targeted. Or I feel like I'm being mansplained to in a lot of DMs, stuff like that. But I don't know if it's best to, I just feel like it puts all marketers in a bad position when we are going out there and calling out different salespeople. Like, it doesn't help marketing at the end of the day, because we do need those one-on-one conversations, like Cynthia was saying. So let's be real about it. Like marketing, we're putting out a large message to a large audience, but sales is going in one-on-one and making a human connection with that. And nothing beats that, because let's be real. The very first, like the best type of communication we can have is face-to-face. And when you can't do face-to-face, it's on the video. And when it's not on video, it's on the phone, and so on and so forth. So thank you to all the sales warriors out there who are calling day to day and doing all this. But yeah, that was a big topic I saw on LinkedIn regarding sales. So let me know if anybody else saw that. But anything you guys would add to that?
I think that there's ways to open a conversation that isn't immediately, here's what I can do for you, but really it's here's what I want from you. That's the feeling of certain messages. So, being human, learning how to connect, knowing that some people are going to respond and some people won't, but just finding ways to approach people the way that you would want to be approached. I think it takes away a lot of that stigma. If you're out here being weird, then your vibe is going to be weird, and people are going to feel that. We are very intuitive, whether we know it or not. So check your vibe, as they say, before you send these.
Yeah. I think that the worst kind of pitch slaps that are going on are those automated pitch slaps. Like I get like 5 a week that said, great recommendation or stellar recommendation from X and X on your profile and blah, blah. It's like,
that's why people don't want to be on LinkedIn. When I talk to people who are active on Facebook and Twitter, they don't want to come on LinkedIn because all y'all are spamming in the DMs. Well, wrap us up on this topic, if you don't mind, Cynthia. So, secrets of sales and business development success, take it away and wrap us up.
I think that it's very important that you definitely find your own style, but you also need to remember that to reach quota, I think multi-channel is the way to go. And you can leverage that by probably, I should say 60 or 70% of your leads should come in, especially when you're doing outbound. 60 or 70% of your leads should probably come from cold calling. The rest from email, and maybe a 10% from social selling. Me and my team, we just got them a power dialer, and we're really happy because we're trying to get productivity up by 30% by booking more via cold call, because it's the fastest way to reach more prospects. And especially if you're using a power dialer, you're going to be able to dial 500 numbers and connect to more people. So again, stick to the basics. I mean, social selling is great. You definitely want to leverage your personal brand, which creates, of course, awareness for your company. But the whole purpose of social selling is to build familiarity when it goes accompanied by email and by a phone call. So I tell my team, never put all of your eggs in one basket. You need to try all three, and all three together work wonders. And I know that probably some unicorns exist out there that can book everything via email. I've yet to see a rep that does that in my company or in other companies I've worked at. The best results come from doing multi-channel and using all channels to build familiarity and create awareness.
Yes, thank you. And that means sales needs to be on LinkedIn too, right, Cynthia?
100%. And I would wrap the LinkedIn conversation we were having as yes, LinkedIn is a professional network. It's funny because I just had that conversation with my team on Monday. This isn't Twitter, and it's definitely not Instagram. So yes, you can be real. Yes, you can get personal, but the whole purpose of LinkedIn is to create content for your community to actually make business. That's the way I see it. I'm not out there, like, I rarely post personal things, like, or maybe I do, only if it's related to work, because I'm trying to build an audience, and my audience includes a lot of VPs of sales, business development, CEOs, COOs, founders. So if they actually see a picture of me sitting in a pool or me on the beach, that's sending the wrong message to the target that I want to reach out to, or the leads that I want to bring in. So you need to keep it professional. And whenever you're selling to people on messaging, it's okay to do your own thing. But there is a thing, I think, as over messaging people, and people know when you're not being real, when you're using a bot, like especially those of us that get more than 20, 30 messages a day, you can tell who's not real, who's using a bot, or who's just trying to sell you something like, let's book a meeting today. This is why you need X and X product. So keep it real, be yourself, and again, multi-channel.
Multi-channel, everybody. And, we're going to be talking more about keeping it real. And speaking of creating content for your audience, one thing I find with folks who aren't posting on LinkedIn is, there's an anxiety or just something, an imposter syndrome holding them back. And so I'm looking forward to getting in a little bit of the nerves of sales and marketing here in a minute. But Jen, can you kick us off on topic 2? And we can blend it together with topic 3. So topic 2 is learn the art of storytelling and connection in sales. And don't let the nerves get the best of you. Learn how to manage anxiety during calls and video. So let's dive into topic 2, if you don't mind. Jen, can you kick us off?
Yeah. So we've heard already that it's important to be real and be yourself. So can you answer what that is? Whether you are talking about speaking in the voice of your business, or if you and the voice of your business are kind of one. Okay, so what does that mean for you when you are being real, when you are showing up fully? If you can't answer that, there's a good chance that there's a lot of autopilot choices going on. And that's why you don't have a clear narrative for how you want to show up on your social media, in your newsletter if you have one. And you might sound different. The voice of you and your business can kind of feel choppy. So before you can start to decide what stories you're going to tell, how are you telling them? What is your voice? And the only way that you can really hone that is to start telling stories. And you can do it in writing. You can do it talking to a friend. You could literally set up a 15-minute phone call with a friend once a week and say, listen, I'm just going to run through some stories that connect to my business. And here are some frameworks that you could start brainstorming in. How do you do what you do? What is your actual approach? Yes, I'm a comedian and I'm a keynote speaker and I teach people how to storytell. But the way that I do that is very much in the muscle of my comedy writing, which is about choosing words really specifically to get a reaction. For comedy, it's to get laughter. For you, it's to connect. So what stories can you have on hand for the lead-ins, right? Like the content that you have online that are making people say, oh, I might want to have a conversation with them, or that make people have you top of mind when the problem you solve is finally present. But then there's the stories that they are telling you once you're on the phone with them in a sales call. And there's the stories that you've told yourself about how you act when you're on a sales call, how you feel, the things that normally take you down, the ways in which you don't close very often, or maybe your story is you close every call. What are the stories? And again, as a comedian, I have a lot of practice of getting in front of a room and getting their reactions. And sometimes there's hecklers. But at this point, I've heard it all. So I have something to respond with to almost anything that anyone can say to me. Or I know how to pivot away from that person and not give them any air. So if you are on a call with somebody and you start to become really aware of the stories that people give you at certain points in the conversation, usually when you get closer to talking about money, how can you respond to that story? Do you have scripts and, are you prepared to talk to that story? Not manipulate it necessarily and not shut it down. I talk to people about sitting in the discomfort and letting people want to run away, and maybe even saying it. I know you want to run away right now. Can you sit for 30 more seconds in this discomfort? When you start to speak to the quiet part that most people aren't used to hearing out loud, another muscle that I've gotten used to as a comedian, it knocks people off their center enough that they become real without planning to. You start to actually see who the person is, their script, their story. You just confused them. They are snapped out of the thing that they were just in. And now you can actually connect. And it is not about, gotcha, now you can't get off this call until I get a yes from you. It's just, can we just keep having this conversation, because I'm just here to connect with you. And I'm just trying to get a little more information from you, because ultimately I want to help you. And if I believe I cannot help you, I absolutely will let you go. But having stories that help to connect, help to validate the fears that people have, the doubts that people have, the ways that people have been burned before when they thought that they were making a right decision. Like, all of these things are the stories that we bring to a sales call. So that anxiety, right?
Definitely.
That's all like built into that. And I can go into some of that, but I've been rambling. So if you want to do anything with what I just said.
Anything that you want to chime in on with the storytelling piece of it, Cynthia?
So I think that what Jen actually said, when you talk about tone of voice, like I heard about this like 2 months ago from Ronan Passar, and like it really echoed to me. There are 3 types of tone of voice, like the warm, friendly tone of voice, and that's great if you have that natural voice. Then it's like the professional and clear tone of voice, and the third tone of voice, which is the funny tone of voice, which, as Jen said, if you're not a natural in being funny, you can learn, but it's not going to come off as natural. So definitely when you're storytelling, you need to pay attention to your tone of voice, because that's going to probably set the tone for the entire conversation. And if you want to actually engage with a customer, like you should be able to set the tone of voice by probably the first 3 seconds when you actually connect with somebody. So I think like definitely tone of voice is important for storytelling too. It's kind of funny because we actually we're trying to get into more storytelling these days in Samara, and we're sending a lot of personalized content to our prospects, and that includes sending videos on specific positions and candidates. And it's worked out really well because, for example, we just created a specific template for heads of sales who want to hire BDRs and SDRs. So it's really about telling them the story, how these 3 people that were sending videos got hired within X and X companies. And these BDRs started at 0. And we tell the story and we create a blurb for each BDR that goes with the video. So it's like telling the story of success and how they're now successful in these companies and the videos that they started in and the videos that they ended with. So I think actually creating content is huge, huge, huge for selling.
Great point. So you were going to move on a little bit into the anxiety piece, Jen. Can you take us into that realm of the storytelling piece?
Yeah, absolutely. So taking it in the context of either right before you're getting on a sales call or right before you're going to sit down and create a video, whether it's going to go on your socials or direct to somebody, I always recommend that people do something before they sit down to that thing to shake off whatever you're carrying around from your day. And you can physically shake your body, shake your hands. If you can get outside, that's great. But there is a power to creating a container that you know you're going to step in and do this thing. And that cues your body. It cues your body to get into a certain mental state, energy state, and awareness, instead of having a constant blurred line of your day. Practicing transitions all the time, honestly, before, especially now that so many of us don't have lines between work and home, having ways to cue to your body that you are starting work, that you are ending work, that you are taking a break. These are all ways that you can practice this transition into a sales call or on a video, listening to certain music, whatever. Once you're on the call or doing the video, more than likely your body is going to betray you. Okay. That's just going to happen. This happens when I'm on stage. It happens when people give talks. I don't care how mentally you have prepared for something. If your nervous system and body is not on board, you will start to sweat. You will start to lose your train of thought. You will have fast heart rate. All of those things happen without you allowing them to. So you have to have a way of moving that energy when you feel it happen. Oftentimes we get so scared of the anxiety because of what we feel the anxiety does to us. It knocks us off track, right? And so before it even happens, sometimes we start knocking ourselves off track just to get ahead of it. So when you feel it coming, move it out of your body. Picture it moving out of your fingers. Picture it moving down through your legs, down through your feet, down through the floor, through the building that you're in, into the earth. Get it out of your body. That is not your responsibility right now to process that anxiety or try and hold it in your body. Move it out. And the more that you can try to let go of what's in your body before the call or before the video, the more likely you're going to be able to recognize, this isn't even mine. I'm picking up the anxiety of the person I'm on the call with. So I'm just going to let that fall through. You can also picture a bowl in between you and the person, if you're talking to somebody, and everything they say goes into the bowl. I don't actually pick up anything that they are saying. This is not my responsibility to process their fear and anxiety. We're going to put it in the bowl, especially if you're doing a bunch of calls right in a row. You don't have time. You don't have time to be processing and going for a walk in between every call. That would be lovely, but you don't have time. So moving it through your body and picturing a physical space in between you and that person where all of their stuff goes are two really effective ways that I can stay centered when I'm on a call or on stage or whatever.
Wow, Jen, that is so valuable. And I have to admit and be vulnerable, but I don't mind being vulnerable because I have really made a vow to like build in public and just be myself. And, I get anxiety during sales calls, and your advice of letting it move through the fingers was really helpful for me. And I love the thing that you added about putting it in a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, so many people are scared to talk about this or own up to it. So I'd really like to encourage people to it's okay. Let's just talk about it. Not all of us are super comfortable in all settings. I don't know, Cynthia, maybe you are. Have you ever experienced anxiety in a sales call?
Oh my God. I could talk about the anxiety topic for days, just because I'm not like some people think this is a taboo, but I actually was diagnosed with anxiety, 8 years ago. So I don't have it right now, but there have been periods of my life when I've actually had anxiety, like the disease or whatever it's called, the symptom, the condition. So of course, when you suffer from anxiety, everything, your world turns upside down, and it's so easy to just I remember people always giving me the advice like, oh, it's all in your head. Like you just have to be strong. Sometimes it's just bigger than you. It's a lot bigger than you, and people don't get it, that it's not just in your head, but it becomes something so big that it controls every single thought that you have. So even if you had a good call, you said a wrong word, and you just said a wrong phrase, you're so judgmental on yourself, you're your own worst critic. So you're going to probably destroy yourself because of that after the call. Or maybe your head's racing when you're having that call and you're thinking oh my God, am I going to book that meeting or not? Is this person going to buy? What should I say? So all of those scenarios that go on in your mind, sometimes people don't know it, and it becomes worse if you actually suffer from the condition. So I can totally get that. You're already stressed out because you have to book meetings, you have to bring in results. Maybe you didn't do well last quarter. So of course, getting that anxiety during the call is horrible. I know the feeling. I've been there, done that, passed through all of the different stages. And yeah, I completely agree with what Jen said, 100%.
Well, thank you both so much. I really want to honor both of you for sharing about this topic, because a lot of people, don't want to talk about it, especially on LinkedIn. So I appreciate you getting into it with me. And, I've gone to therapy before. It's one more other thing. Let's be real about that. If if it is a problem, go get diagnosed and go get help. I was never diagnosed with anxiety. So, maybe I need to be careful about how I use that word. But I guess to me, it feels there was a time actually I went to the hospital when I lived in Iowa, and I thought I was having a heart attack. And they're like, no, you're having a panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And so there was just a lot going on. There was a shooting nearby, and I had kids and I was breastfeeding. There's a lot happening, so yeah, it's okay to talk about it. Susan, you warming my heart in the comments. Thank you. That's exactly why I give myself permission to just be vulnerable, is because I hope it'll help one other person, so it gives you all permission to do it too, because I hope we can all do that. But let's get more into this anxiety topic in just a moment. But for right now, I have some special messages for you, so hold tight.
Hey guys, I'm Brittany. I've been designing websites for clients for about 8 years now. And as you know, businesses evolve a lot over the years, right? So I used to go back and forth with my clients via email or phone calls, trying to gather all the details of their business, their product and service descriptions, benefits to their clients, processes for collecting leads and onboarding, branding elements, and important accounts associated with their website. All these details are super important for building a solid foundation for your website, but that back and forth takes a lot of time. And sometimes I could sense that my clients felt rushed to get me the information that I needed. Now that I have my website project planner, I can collect all these important details from my clients without all that back and forth emails and calls. They can sit down and dive deep into it and then share this one document with me. We use this information as a launching point to create better, more thoughtful, and strategic content for their website. I'd like to gift you this planner so you can dig deep and put into one place all the details that make your business unique and valuable. Once you've filled it out, you can send the planner back to me or the website designer of your choice to get a massive jumpstart on your website project. Now, you won't be getting my physical planner, but I do want to use this to emphasize a point. A solid website starts offline with a solid plan. So if you're planning your website project, go to brittanyhoncomp.com/planner to get your free copy of my website project planner.
Hi, I'm Valerie Christine, and I'm so happy to be here on Whiskey Wednesday. I help women break free from stored trauma so they can be successful. If you've ever known how to do something, you had all the strategies, but you still weren't successful at it, it might be because of stored trauma. This can come up in the form of procrastination, self-doubt, people-pleasing, not having clear boundaries with yourself and with others. And often people look for the answer outside of themselves, but it's usually within. So if you're finding yourself struggling to succeed and you know what to do, you have a list of what to do, but you're just not able to get yourself to do it, reach out to me on Instagram at Heal with Valerie, and that's Heal with Valerie. I would love to talk with you and see in what ways we can support you to get to where you really want to be.
Awesome. Well, if you don't mind, audience, please tag Brittany and Valerie in the comments, and let's give them some love because Valerie is doing really great work. She is, I can't speak high enough of her. So please go search her and learn a little bit more about her. Maybe if you don't need her services, someone you know might. And also Brittany is helping a lot of people with their websites. So she is doing the Divi theme on WordPress primarily. But she is all around skilled and is working on some courses and ways to teach people. So Brittany, tell us in the comments a little bit about what you're doing, both of you, but let's continue this conversation and kind of get into topic 4, because the topic 4, it easily goes into this conversation we were having about anxiety. So Cynthia, closing deals with confidence. So let's get past, this and it's not always easier. It's easier said than done, right? But coming into our power and closing deals with confidence. Can you kick us off with this topic?
So I think that closing deals with confidence is a great subject because, and I mean, this isn't just for the BDRs listening to us, because a lot of BDRs actually don't close deals. This is more the AEs. I think that one, it really depends on the industry that you are working for, and it really depends on the sales cycle. I've done both types, that just so that you know, products that have really fast sales cycle and products that have really low sales cycle, slow sales cycles. So this is going back to my first point, why you need to prospect every single day, because if you're waiting for that magic bullet to just magically show up and you close the deal and you have a really slow sales cycle, in order to close that deal and make sure that you keep your pipeline full and you're closing a lot of deals, you need to keep nurturing your customers and building your pipeline. And if your sales cycle is fast, of course, you're probably getting more inbound leads, or your product has a different price point, or it's probably lower. Sometimes you just forget that in times where leads are scarce, or in times of adversity, you try to look for that magic bullet, or for that unicorn, as we call it, and you start closing deals. That's where you start looking for discounts because you're desperate, or you start going back to dead prospects. And then you forget that you're good at what you do and you need to remember those wins. And remember how you felt, how good it felt when you actually closed your first deal, no matter the size. That feeling that you had, you need to keep holding on to that whenever you're about to close a deal, or when you haven't even closed a deal in some time, to remember why you're a rock star or why you did so good in your job, just to be able to keep closing, because we all have hard months, or sometimes we all have fantastic months, and that's just sales, the ups and downs of it.
Wait, I can't hear you, Jessie. Is that just me?
Yeah, we can't hear you, Jessie.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I was liking this view here. Let us know in the comments. What do you think of the way I move the cameras around on Whiskey Wednesday? But I really loved what you had to say about closing deals with confidence, and especially like how this really applies to AEs. But I don't know, maybe it could also apply to SDRs in the way they're like booking meetings too, like booking meetings with confidence. I feel like the same things you said could be applicable. But anything you want to add to that, Cynthia, before Jen tells us her thoughts on confidence?
Oh, I think that feeling when you actually book that meeting, when you haven't booked anything in a really long time, that's why I love BDR so much, because that energy, that feeling of actually booking a meeting is what drives you. So again, I had one of my BDRs, she closed last month in 0, and we were really freaking out, and she was really stressed out. She was starting to think she wasn't qualified for the job. Everybody booked except her. Guess what? She's booked 5 this week. And it's like I told her, it's all mindset. It's all mindset. Like, you were already thinking on quitting last week. You thought you sucked. She was crying. She had a breakdown, and things turned around for her. So the whole thing is mindset. Like, even when you're going through those tough times, you need to remember that you are not this moment. This moment doesn't define you. That's not who you are. And you need to remember your wins. You need to go back to your past and remember those wins that you had. And that's what's going to drive you through. That's what I tell my team all of the time.
I love that. And wins. And I love people celebrating wins. That's what we do in the Slack channel for Reveting. If you want in our Slack channel, let us know. We'll drop the link. Jen, what would you share about closing deals with confidence, or really anything with confidence?
Cynthia, you nailed it once again. That is everything. And, having enough calls on the calendar, or just in that muscle of looking for more prospects, I think is one of the most effective ways to not put that unspoken pressure on that phone call that you feel like you have. When we show up to anything with desperation, it smells from a mile away. People can feel it. No one wants to be in that. So I saw a comment a little earlier of someone who has their very first sales call this coming Monday. And I would tell that person to really, really listen to this advice that Cynthia gave. It's like, that first one is exciting because it's your first one, not because it needs to be the best or the most successful. Do it, and then the next call is actually the job. Like, having your first call on the calendar is great, but like, what about 2 through 10 for next week is more the focus than closing that call. And that's true when I get on stage as well. Sometimes there's just bad nights. Sometimes it just doesn't click with audiences. If I let that night define me, I will never get on stage again. So that advice of this moment does not define you can absolutely be applied everywhere that requires you to get up and do it again, which is life.
I have something to show you.
Okay.
Yes.
What we're talking about. You're going to love it. I just have to look for it.
Oh my gosh, everybody put in the comments, what do you think she's going to show us? What is she pulling out of that bag?
Oh my God.
I hope it's a dog.
I am so excited. I love this.
Oh my God. I found it. I just remember.
Oh, let us know in the comments who's there, who's still here watching.
I bought this at Walgreens the other day, and I keep it as a reminder for myself.
Oh.
I saw this card and I bought it.
Oh,
you are not this moment. Yep. In rainbow, baby. There you go.
You are not this moment.
That's like, if you take anything from this conversation, like the ability to keep it moving is that belief to get on the next call, send the next email, whatever it is you're doing. Oof. That heaviness, if you have multiple calls or you end a month on 0, that collective pressure through the month can absolutely weigh you down. And that saying, that mantra of I am not this moment, what I was talking about with like releasing whatever before you get on a call, that statement alone could release 50 pounds of energetic weight.
I love that. Well, we've got some prizes to give away. So who hasn't entered to win? Make sure that you do. So real quick, let me take some of this stuff off the screen here and do a quick recap of what we're giving away here. And as I'm doing that, if you have any thoughts on comments or any more questions, plug them in, because, we can still get back into that if anyone does have any questions, because it is a very important topic. But in the meantime, I'm going to put my head up there so I don't cover you up, Jen. And if you put #email in the comments, you will be entering to win a box of cookies from Grove Cookie Company. Tag Grove Cookie Company if you're here. They're awesome. You're going to get 1,000 B2B data credits. That's 1,000 B2B emails. And Lavender, that's what Data goes. Tag Data goes too. Give them some love. They're a new SaaS company. I love small SaaS. And then we've got Lavender 1 Year Pro. So you're going to want to put #email to enter to win all of these. Enter hashtag revenue for the SD Lab 30-minute cold call coaching headset and a box of cookies. And of course, #cookies to get another box of cookies. And all the cookies, again, are thanks to Cynthia. Cynthia, that's so kind of you.
I know. Everybody wants, this is your chance to get your hands on these cookies. They've been viral on LinkedIn for the past month. I had like 6 boxes already, so it's my turn to give back.
Oh, I love that. And you know what? I love Grove Cookie Company. I reached out to Grayson. He actually gave me a quote for our website because they were a sponsor last year. And he said something along the lines of like, whiskey, how much Whiskey Wednesday helped him. But go to the website and see it, check it out. Grove Cookie Company is everything. So I really appreciated that. Jen, tell us a little bit about this prize from Hugh here, on-demand storytelling workshop that they'll be winning if they put #cookies in the comment.
Yeah, this workshop is a 90-minute in-depth workshop of the comedian's formula that I teach to help you storytell your career. And it's designed to be able to be applied to any length of conversation. So whether you need this for a 1-minute elevator pitch, or you're doing podcast interviews, or you're interviewing for a job, it can be applied to any formula that you need, but it's really focused on teaching you how to connect and how to have stories in your arsenal that do that for you. So you're not in the middle of a conversation trying to figure out what you think might be interesting to them. And that's one of the first things I talk about in the training. Stop trying to be interesting. Just like stop trying to be funny, stop trying to be interesting. Be interested. And that's, one of the key things that I talk about. So, and then you see me give feedback to 5 or 6 entrepreneurs. You see me workshop this formula with them in real time to watch people change how they talk about themselves.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you. And tag Proposify to enter to win the Proposify swag pack. But we will be giving away these prizes. And before we do, we didn't talk about the Guru of the Week before our pre-show. So the Guru of the Week is someone who walks the walk and talks the talk on LinkedIn. You both made a submission. But since we didn't have time to really make the images and stuff beforehand, just go ahead and share whoever you want. Who are you both following and enjoying their content on LinkedIn that you think everyone should go follow? Who's going to go first? Cynthia?
I want to give a shout out to my 2 team leads. They've been putting a lot of work in LinkedIn. I want to give a shout out to Fernanda Umania. She's been creating content. She just reached 6K followers, and she posts every day. She builds her community. So I want to give a shout out to Fernanda.
Will you tag her in the comments just so everybody knows how to spell her name? And
sure.
Jen, how about you?
I forget who I told you originally, but I want to shout out Terry Trespicio. She is a good friend of mine and also a brilliant writer and branding coach, and helping people specifically create TED Talks and 10-minute to 45-minute keynotes. And she is truly brilliant, and she has a book recently that came out called How to Unfollow Your Passion, which is just also brilliant. So Terry Trespicio, I'll put her in the comments as well.
I love that. Everybody go follow those gurus of the week. Ooh, ooh. Okay, so now I am going to try and share my screen, which we all know I have issues with every once in a while. So our prize one was email. So I'm going to share that tab here. There were 20 entries. So I think we can get the music changed here. And I'm going to, who's going to win? Who's going to win? Is it going to be Alexa? Maybe Daisy? I saw AP and Dean and Whiskey Wednesday, Christopher. If Whiskey Wednesday wins, we'll do a redraw. Mark Mack. Congratulations. Mark Mack. What? Mark Mack attack. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now let's go and share the other tab. So prize 2 was #revenue. And so I'm going to share that screen. We're going to do #revenue. There are 18 entries. Let's see who's going to win that one. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Is it going to be Sharon? Congratulations, Sharon. We will follow up. Actually, I have a form if you're still here watching for you to fill out. Otherwise, we'll send it to the winners. And prize 3, let's go ahead and pull up that other one. It makes me stop sharing just to go to the other tab. Okay, so this one is cookies. 25 entries. Let's do this. Sarah Hanks, congratulations. I know she's won before. Congratulations, Sarah. Everybody give Sarah and all of our winners some love. We got prize 4 still to give away. Stop share. And we're going to, who is going to win the Proposify Swag Pack 20 entries? Here we go. Maybe Alexa, maybe Jason, Stephanie and Lydia. Hey, Kate, Daisy. Lydia! Congratulations, Lydia. You won the Proposify Swag Pack. So real quick, let me just stop my share, and I'm going to put up here the form. So if you are a winner and you are watching, you can send, I thought I had the form here, but there it is. Claim your prize. We have this form that we ask all prize winners to, follow up with, fill it out, and then we'll send you an email to connect you with these brands, as well as the prize givers. But thank you so much to our guests for this amazing conversation. I hope you can both stick around for the after party, and anyone else who's still here. I put the link already in the comments, but I can do it again if anyone needs it. It's somewhere. Just scroll up. But we'll be on Google Hangout. But before we go, could you both let the audience know how they can find you? Cynthia?
Love it. So I'm gonna put my post on LinkedIn, my hashtag, my handle, just so that you guys know I am always on LinkedIn, so you guys can follow me. You might like my content, you might not, but I post once a day, and it's all related to BDRs and SDRs and what it's like to be on a daily basis working with a team. So follow me if you want to learn more. If you just want to talk to me, I'm always there.
Awesome. Thank you. And Jen, how about you? How can the audience find you?
I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I send emails. So jenletter.com if you want to get an overview of all the ways that you can step into my world, or I'm at jenletterer on literally everything.
Awesome. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you, everyone who's been here. We're going to wrap up and go meet in the Google Hangout. I put it in the private chat for our guests in case you are able to join. Just be sure to grab that link. Otherwise, I'll close this out with an outro video. Any last words before we go?
Cynthia, thank you for everything you shared. It was brilliant. I learned so much,
and I think we were on the same vibe about storytelling. I mean, that was awesome. It was great meeting you too.
You too. Thank you, Jessie.
Yes, thank you both so much. And audience, until next week, hope to see you at the after party. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.